questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 parts. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to part 1.
Man who has just retired telephoning a part-time society to ask about membership and activities. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Hello, this is the Leighton Society. How can I help?
Oh, hello. I'm just phoning you because I'm interested in becoming a member of your society, and I was wondering if you could give me some more information.
The name of the society is Leighton, so Leighton has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello, this is the Leighton Society. How can I help?
Oh, hello. I'm just phoning you because I'm interested in becoming a member of your society, and I was wondering if you could give me some more information.
Of course. What would you like to know?
Well, first of all, I'd like to know where you hold the club meetings, as I'm not very mobile anymore, and I'm looking for somewhere that's within walking distance of my house. Are you still down at the old boathouse?
No, we moved away from there a while ago. Meetings are now held at the clubhouse.
Oh, brilliant. That's only 5 minutes from me. Do you require members to have any skills or experience?
No, there is no experience required. We have plenty of female singers and actresses, but we don't have many men who can play the male roles. We are looking to resolve this, and are especially interested in recruiting male actors and singers.
I've never sung professionally, but I'm very keen on it, and I've been told that I'm talented, so I think this would be a good fit. Do you organise coaches to transport members to practice at the theatre?
Unfortunately, the club does not have sufficient funds to organise transportation, though this is something we are working towards. We are currently looking for members who can drive so that we can organise car sharing. Members who are able to shuttle people in their cars will obviously be compensated for their petrol usage.
I don't drive, but I'd be happy to contribute some money in order to use the shuttle services.
Yes, that is no problem. Are you aware of when the meetings take place?
No, I couldn't find the meeting times on your website.
We hold meetings from 6 to 8 p.m. every Tuesday.
Ah, that's lucky. I go to a debating club every Wednesday, so I'm glad that it's on a different night so I can attend both. Do you operate year-round?
We used to close during December for the Christmas period, but we found that a lot of members wanted to continue their practices during this time. We operate for most of the year, but we do, however, close for August because the weather gets so hot that we are unable to practice comfortably. This may change when we have enough funds to operate the air conditioning.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
OK. I also wanted to ask how much the membership fee is and what is included with it.
Our membership fee is inexpensive, and it includes many benefits that certainly make the costs worth it. For example, we hold an annual event where members can meet each other and converse about topics that they have in common. We find that this is very popular, as the dinner is truly superb and included with your membership fee.
Wow, that sounds great. And how much does membership cost?
We have a couple of membership rates depending on your age and situation. For employed members under the age of 30, the fee is £40, while it costs £60 for members aged between 30 and 60. Which of these categories do you fit into?
Oh, I don't fit into either of those. I'm 65 years old and retired, so I'm no longer employed.
That's no problem at all. You qualify for the lowest price membership fee of £25, which applies to those who are either unemployed or retired.
Wow, that's really affordable. I was thinking of bringing my grandson along to some of the practices, so what would the membership cost for him? He's 14.
I'm afraid that the club is for adults only. That is to say, we don't allow members who are aged 16 and under. He is welcome to join in 2 years' time, though.
Ah, that's a shame. I guess I can wait and buy him a membership for his birthday present.
Yes, what a good idea.
I was hoping I could bring him with me so I have someone there to talk to. I'm worried that I won't have anything in common with the other members.
I'm sure you'll fit in just fine. All our members are very friendly and interested in culture and music. Most of the people involved are modern authors looking for new experiences to write about in their books. You could read some of their books so you have something to discuss with them.
That's a good suggestion. I'll definitely do that. I'm really looking forward to attending the annual dinner, so I can meet new people and hopefully make some friends.
Absolutely. Everyone has a great night, and it's all for charity, as all of the money raised from this event is donated to the Children's Hospital so they can buy toys and clothes.
Wow, what a great cause. Well, I will definitely be popping in soon to arrange my membership. Thank you for all of your help.
No problem at all. Goodbye.
Bye.
That is the end of Part 1. You now have 1 minute to check your answers to Part 1. Part 2. You will hear a man talking to a group of people who are looking around a community garden. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Well, good morning everyone and welcome to this open day at the community garden. Our garden belongs to the local community and as you'll see, what we grow here is mostly fruit and different kinds of vegetables. First, I'll tell you some background information. Well, recently we made an interesting discovery at the garden. Before, we didn't know much about the history of this site. We only had a few documents and records. Then we found some ancient implements like spades and forks for digging. They were buried in the earth. Experts say these are at least 1,000 years old. So people have been using this land for growing produce for a long time. There are some photographs of these implements in the clubhouse, as well as a diagram of what we think the garden might have looked like if you want to look later. So, why was this location so good for gardening? As you can see, we're in a slight valley, and storms blow very hard up this valley, which can be a problem. But being in a valley, we get good freezing frosts here in winter, which gardeners like because it kills the bugs. The great thing, though, is the stream that runs through the valley, so we can irrigate the gardens even through long, dry summers. Now, what we do know is that in 1860, gardening stopped here. This was a time of rapid development in this area, and on that date, the city infirmary was constructed on this site, so this is where doctors and surgeons worked to take care of the health needs of the growing population. Also, many new houses were put up for people who commuted into the city each day to work. There was even talk of a new military camp, although that never happened in the end. Then in the 1980s, the old buildings here were removed, and this land again became a productive garden. Today, these gardens produce large quantities of fruit and vegetables. Each plot of land is worked by a volunteer member of the garden, and they donate what they grow to families in this neighbourhood who are struggling financially. Occasionally, we're approached by local businesses and restaurants wanting to buy our organic produce, but we just don't have enough. We also have a good relationship with the local college. In fact, several of the academics there are members of the garden. Each week, undergraduates enrolled on the college's horticulture course have a class here to learn about their subject firsthand. And in future, the college hopes to hold workshops here to help local people establish vegetable gardens at home.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
OK, now I'll just point out a few places of interest around the gardens. So can you all look at your maps, please? OK, so we're now standing at the main entrance to the gardens, outside the clubhouse. So you might be interested in our worm farms. This is where we make fertiliser. To get there, from the main entrance, head north. You'll pass gardens on either side of the path. Just before the path curves round to the right, there's a turning on the left. Go down there and the worm farms are inside the first building you come to. It's also worth visiting our seed store. Again, head north and follow the path as it curves round to the right, through the gardens. You'll come to the orchard. Follow the path around the edge of the orchard, but don't go too far. The seed store is actually located inside the orchard, a very pretty spot. Now, the machinery shed might interest some of you. From the main entrance, just go into the car park and walk right to the end. You'll see a little path heading out to the west. It's down there. Our compost heaps are also pretty impressive. So head north from the main entrance, go past the first gardens and take the first turning on the left. Go to the end of that path. The compost heaps are built in the shape of a letter U. The drying room is also interesting. This is where we dry fruit to preserve it. To see how it's done, walk up through the gardens till you come to the orchard. Keep heading north and the drying room is right at the very end of that path, as far as you can go. Now, one other thing I'll mention are the outside toilet facilities.
That is the end of part 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 2. Part 3.
You will hear 3 students discussing an experiment they're interested in. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Oh, hi Jen and Irene. Are you two heading to class?
Hey, Bill. Yes, we're just walking there now. We're a little bit early, but we wanted to prepare our apparatus for the experiment. Do you want to walk with us?
Yes, sure. It'll be good to catch up. How is everything going with your experiment? Have you decided what your test subject is yet?
It's going really well, and we're conducting the test as laboratory partners. We've decided to test the effects of gravitational force on a series of objects with different densities.
It's interesting, but it's a lot of work. I've been planning the experiment for the last 2 weeks, and I only finished yesterday.
Gosh, Irene, I'm really impressed by how hard-working you are.
I enjoy chemistry so much that it doesn't feel like work. Whenever I have some free time at the weekend, I spend it in the laboratory working on it. It almost feels like a second home to me.
How about you, Bill? Who is your laboratory partner?
The tutor partnered me with Kim. At first I was worried because I've never worked with him before, and I was worried that he wouldn't be very good at laboratory work. But actually, he's very capable.
I've noticed that he's always very well dressed.
Yes, he's very stylish, and we share the same tastes in clothes. That doesn't stop him from getting his hands dirty, though. He's a very hard worker and makes a significant contribution, which I'm really grateful for.
It's good that you get on well with your partner. It makes the experiment so much more enjoyable when you work well together.
What do you think of the other people in our group?
A lot of the boys are really good at maths, which is really helpful with all the calculations we have to do.
Irene is good at maths as well, which makes her contribution really useful because she can do all the equations. I take care of all the writing because Irene finds that difficult. We'd probably fail without each other's help.
That's true. I'm so glad that we're nearly finished.
Only because you finished the data analysis.
Oh, Jen, you give me too much credit.
I'm so glad that I didn't get partnered with Linda again. Jen and I were grouped with her for our last experiment, and it was a nightmare.
Yes, she always submitted her work on time for the group work, but she never had her phone on her, so it was impossible for anyone to keep in touch with her and vice versa.
Her attitude was pretty annoying, but in all fairness, she was a very hard worker because she realized the amount of work needed to get a high score.
Jen is such a hard worker. In fact, she has been invited to work on the professor's personal project.
Wow, that's amazing. Well done. Why were you picked?
I thought he would pick one of the students that he's closer to, but he told me he was impressed with me because I always complete reading the assignments in time for class.
I bet you'll be really popular among the other students when they find out. They'll all want to hear about the project.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
You should give everyone tasks so that they have the opportunity to participate.
That's a really good idea, actually. Will you help me decide who to assign each task to?
Of course. Now let's see. Well, as Irene finds writing difficult, perhaps it would be useful for her to practice that by doing the bibliography.
I think the bibliography is a bit long for me. I think I'd be better suited to the methodology.
Yes, that makes sense. Bill, you've told us that Kim is a hard worker, so I think he should be tasked with the conclusions, as there is quite a lot of effort involved.
OK, sure. I know that Kyle hasn't been feeling well, so he should take care of the abstract and the acknowledgement, because there is very little work to be done for those tasks.
Jen, do you want to review some of the literature? It's a lot of work, but I know that you really enjoy writing, so I'm confident that you'll do a good job.
Sure, sounds great.
Right, so that leaves the bibliography and the discussion to assign. I think that Linda will struggle with the amount of work involved in the referencing, so perhaps I should take care of that task, and she can do the other one?
That's great, guys. Thanks for your help. I'll tell the tutor when he arrives.
That is the end of Part 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers to Part 3. Listening, Part 4.
You will hear a talk on research in nanotechnology. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second lecture in our series on modern technology. Today I'll be discussing the recent developments in nanotechnology in addition to its applications in a number of environments, such as domestic and medical. First of all, I'd like to begin with a short explanation of what nanotechnology is. It is the manipulation of matter on an atomic, molecular, and supramolecular scale. Because of its limitless applications and uses, the government has invested billions of dollars into the research and development of nanotechnology in order to explore its potential. It is only recently that we have been able to engage in the development of nanotechnology, since the particles are so minuscule that a new type of microscope had to be invented to enable us to see them. Many of you may not realize that we all use nanotechnology in our homes as a part of our daily lives. For example, a new dietary supplement uses nanotechnology in order to help our body to absorb iron from our diet more efficiently, which can help to prevent anemia. This technology also makes it easier and cheaper for factories to produce foods such as chocolates, as the nanomolecules help the food to meet our recommended daily intake of certain vitamins and minerals. This may sound odd, but in fact it just means that the food is healthier and cheaper and has increased flavour. Another application for nanotechnology is in the agriculture industry. In the past, farmers have been using many artificial chemicals to fertilise the soil, which is extremely bad for the planet, as it contaminates the water that we drink. By using nanotechnology, scientists have been able to develop a spray which increases the efficiency of fertilizers that occur naturally in the soil. This means that a lot more food can now be produced per square hectare, making it cheaper and more efficient to grow without harming the planet. One of the industries upon which nanotechnology has had the biggest impact is the production of pharmaceuticals. One of the most commonly occurring illnesses is food poisoning, as many foods have naturally occurring contaminants that can be harmful if eaten without being thoroughly cooked. Nanotechnology makes it possible for us to sterilize the food and make it safe to eat by killing these bacteria. A major success in the use of nanotechnology in the medical field is in the treatment of cancer. Researchers have found that they can attach medicine to nanoparticles, which are then injected into the body and enable the therapeutic drugs to be absorbed into the veins. These drugs then travel throughout the blood system and target cancerous tumours. Scientists have also discovered that certain metals contain nanoparticles that have antibacterial qualities with the ability to destroy over 650 types of bacteria. These metals are used, for example, on fridges to prevent the growth of bacteria. They can even be woven into materials to create clothing that is self-cleaning and has an attractive metallic appearance. The most popular of these materials contains silver, which naturally has the strongest antibacterial qualities. These clothes have a special tag on them to show that they use nanotechnology, so keep a lookout for them next time you go shopping. Another observation made by some researchers showed that certain types of nanoparticles called splifferines can destroy fat tissues and therefore stimulate fat loss without the need for dieting or exercise. They are currently developing a supplement that can be ingested in order to help dieters with their weight loss programs. It is predicted that these supplements will be on the market by 2020. I would like to finish today's lecture with a final example of a domestic application for nanotechnology: cosmetics. Nanoparticles are used in many makeups and body lotions, but they have the greatest effect in sun cream. Ultraviolet rays given off by the sun are a serious cause of skin cancer, but the nanoparticles in sun cream protect the skin against the sun by blocking the ultraviolet radiation from entering the body. This is why you must always wear suntan lotion on the beach. Now, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
That is the end of Part 4. You now have 1 minute to check your answers to Part 4.